Hi everyone, it's Agnes, and today you are doing day 14 of the Self-Love Specific Person course. So today we're not going to do a meditation. I'm going to share a bit about my story with you, where I was at, what I did, and how I overcame my situation, which was not very pleasant at the time, and also the journey to become someone that is with their specific person, despite that we lived in separate countries, 25-hour flight apart. So, to share a little bit of background, my beginnings with my first boyfriend at the age of 17, and we were together 4 years, and then I moved from Canada to Australia. Now, in that time, my boyfriend, who was telling me he was still committed to me and that we would be together when I came back to Canada. My parents actually forced me to move to Australia against my will, but later on that became apparent was a very good decision, and I'm very grateful for living in that country. The situation that developed in between me leaving and me returning back to Canada was that my boyfriend at the time got together with my best girlfriend, and they had regular sex, which I found out about when I returned to Canada. So that was my first experience of infidelity, and we eventually separated because I came back to Australia and I got a job working in insurance, and there was a young man there that I met, and we proceeded to start a relationship. But he never really loved me. So I was continuing to try and get his approval, try and get his attention, try to get love from him, because I didn't understand anything then about self-love or being loved or attracting people that didn't love me. And I stayed with him for about 7 years, and he never told his mum about me. He never wanted me to live with him. He never wanted to really have a relationship where we were really together. And I always felt unloved, unwanted, not important, that I didn't matter. And when his mother would come over with his laundry, he would ask me to hide in the bedroom, which of course was very, for a man of his age, in his late 20s, I think he was at the time, wasn't very good, but it was, of course, everyone is me pushed out, and that's what I attracted at the time. So that relationship ended because he got a flatmate and didn't want to live with me, and then he eventually, well, not eventually, pretty soon after, started a relationship with her. So as you can see, I had the beliefs: I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I'm not deserving, I'm not worthy, I'm second best. I had that in the first relationship, and I had continued that on in the second relationship. So then we move on to relationship number 3. I went on to meet a man who became my husband. We were together 10 years and married for 7. And in that time, that relationship started off good. We were creatively connected. We had a wonderful life where we enjoyed. He was a musician and I was creative, doing ceramics at the time. I had a ceramic business. I was working in retail shops, and we lived in the Blue Mountains of Australia after moving from the beaches in Sydney up to the mountains, which is about 2 hours away. And in that time, the fear in me of he's going to have an affair with someone that shows up at his shows when he was playing music, and I put that out. He's going to have an affair. Is he cheating on me? Am I paranoid? I put that out for quite a long time, probably after the first 3 years of our marriage, so a good 4 years. And then I manifested that he had an affair with someone who was a groupie of his music. Pretty cliche, I know, but it did happen exactly like that. And she had tattoos on the back of her legs and blonde hair, and she was everything I was not. So I felt second best. I felt I wasn't cool enough, I wasn't interesting enough, and that because I didn't have tattoos, I obviously wasn't something else enough because of that, because my husband had tattoos and I didn't. So you can see there was a lot of I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough in each of those situations, and every single one of them, I wasn't good enough for a whole set of new reasons. So at this stage, still, I did not understand everyone as you pushed out. So what happened then? The marriage fell apart and I had created my worst fears. And I remember at the time I had this, I was really into the Native American Indian cards where they have all the animals on them. And there was one that was the owl. And I'd pick this card and I was, of course, because I had so much fear of being cheated on and infidelity because of what had happened before, I would be the energy of fear and fear of loss and fear of second best and someone taking my husband and all this stuff created itself. And I would sit and I would look at these cards, looking, of course, for outside reassurance. And I would pull the owl card, and the owl was about deception. And I lived in an area where there was a lot of owls. So I was seeing owls all the time. And of course, then I'd get this intense, massive fear thinking it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Oh my God, not understanding that I was creating the owls. I was creating the feeling of deception. And I was then projecting that out onto my husband. And then that's what happened. So that whole thing about external reassurance that I talk about on the channel, you can see how it manifested for me. So that was relationship number 3. And I said to my husband at the time, look, are you going to stop doing this? And he said, look, I don't know, I'm confused. And I just thought, okay, well, if you're confused, then you need to get out. So he went and slept. I remember this because it was really hard situation. He was about 1 or 2 streets away from our house. And so he was laying in bed with her while I, as his wife, was laying in bed a couple of streets away. And I remember having lots of revengeful thoughts. I didn't do anything. But, I had thoughts of wanting to burn their house down, where they were staying, or scratch their cars with a key, or all sorts of stuff. I was completely mad, knowing it was just like an inch or 2 up the road. Literally, I could have walked there in probably 5 minutes. So I had to lay in my bed and feel, and I thought they have no right to see how I feel. And I just dealt with my awful amount of pain. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was devastated for months and months and months. So that was relationship number 3. Then I met another man from South Africa. He never loved me. We enjoyed each other's company, but it was more like brother and sister. And I remember once he gave me a card and it said, happy birthday from, and then his name. And I thought, from? Not love? We've been together for how long? And it's from? And then I just thought, what the heck? And I remember I got really upset and I got really angry. And then I just said, look, we just can't be together. This is, what is this? And I know now he was still in love with his ex-partner who he'd had his child with. And, it just went on and on and on. And that's okay, but I still put myself in second best position to somebody else. And that somebody else was always this other woman. It was always someone was better than me because that was my belief. So in the course of all these relationships, I was still doing Neville. I was still reading, learning, but still just not able to kick my negative emotions. And it was always taking me over. And, reading something and applying it, as you know, because a lot of you are in the middle of it, is 2 different things. And, so you can see I've struggled a lot. The relationships have been really challenging for me. And until I understood everyone as me pushed out and how important self-love was, I really didn't get anywhere that much. It's like it looked okay for a year or 6 months and then right back down the plug hole because I default back to I'm not good enough, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm not, and then the long list of, stuff that men had said to me over the years. So that is the first part of my story. I'm going to put underneath here in the description some of the stuff that I read and some of the things that really helped me at that time to move through and to get better at the self-love and to get better at understanding why this kept happening to me. Okay? So use what you want for these last 2 days of the course. I'm going to share my story again tomorrow, but I will put under each YouTube those things that really helped me, and also you can go through them over the next however long, because some of them are books to read, some will be YouTubes to watch, and just go through them at your own pace and know that all of this contributed to me becoming someone that is now with somebody that's very reflective of who I am, and that is giving, and that is calm, and that doesn't have addictions, and someone who is a very supportive person in what I do with my business, and also who I am as a person. And we laugh a lot, and we joke a lot, and we enjoy simple things like meals together and movies and just very ordinary moments. And we live a very peaceful and quiet life when I'm in London. So I will put some of those things under here today, and then I will put some more under tomorrow, which is your final and very last day. And you can take your time from now until you feel like it, because there'll be lots to read and you can't read it all in one day. There'll be lots for you to go through. Just pick what you resonate with and slowly apply what you learn, as I did. And you can see today that I have got the results, and you know that I have walked more than a mile in your shoes. Lots of love for today, and I will see you tomorrow in the very final day.